Hi, I'm Leslie Sabraco. For the past 15 years, I've been the host of an Emmy Award-winning restaurant show and a national travel and food show, both on PBS. I've indulged in pizzas worldwide and am honored to host today's event. Welcome to the Bake-Off Finals of the 2020 Real California Pizza Contest, brought to you by the California Milk Advisory Board. Today we'll be tasting and judging pizzas from innovative recipes using real California cheese. Professional chefs from the United States and Mexico submitted recipes, and our judges have selected 12 finalists who will compete in 3 categories: Cal-Mex, Plant Forward, and the Real Californian. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we've had to change the contest format. Instead of having our 12 finalists compete head-to-head in the live bake-off, we're having professional chefs from the Culinary Institute of America following the winning recipes and baking their pizzas for the judges. Now, we're at the CIA at Copia in Napa Valley, and we'll be presenting the final bake-off in a few moments, followed then by a presentation to announce the 3 winning pizza chefs. What's at stake is not only recognition, but also cash rewards. The California Milk Advisory Board is awarding $5,000 to each winner of their category and an additional $10,000 to the grand prize winner. Now, you'll notice we're carefully following strict health protocols. All of us are masked and keeping our distance from one another. I'll unmask only to talk with you into the camera. Before we get started on the contest, we're fortunate to have a few of the senior executives from the CMAB with us. First, I'd like to introduce John Talbot, the CEO of the California Milk Advisory Board. Hi, John.
Hi, how are you?
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Now, John, tell us about the CMAB and their mission and how they support California dairy farmers.
Sure. Well, very simply, our mission as an organization is to drive demand for any product made with real California milk. And what that means is there's basically 2 sides of the house. On the one side is all about communications, direct to consumers. So we do advertising, public relations, social media, all of that kind of thing. But the other side is more about business development, where we work with the California dairy manufacturers who are providing all kinds of dairy foods to the public. We help them in retail, in food service, e-commerce kinds of things. And then we also get involved in the export side of our business as well.
What role does the CMAB play in the pizza contest, and why did you decide to start the pizza contest?
Well, first of all, you have to understand that 45% of the milk that is produced here in California actually goes into cheese. So cheese is very important to us. And in fact, mozzarella is the biggest part of that cheese production. And in fact, California is the biggest producer of mozzarella in the country.
So you have a large role when it comes to pizza in general, right? Not
Yes.
just the contest, but in pizza,
Exactly.
California
Exactly.
cheese within the pizza world.
Exactly. But the other side of it is that it's all about innovation. Innovation is the lifeblood of consumer products. If we're not being fresh and relevant to our consumers, we're falling behind in the marketplace. So we have to find ways to create new ideas.
What are the benefits for CMAB in sponsoring an event like the pizza contest?
Well, again, very simple. When the pizza industry is healthy, the California dairy industry is healthy. So much of our business goes into the pizza industry that it's really important for California dairy farmers when we can help advance and improve and innovate in the pizza category.
Well, thank you, John. I can smell the pizzas cooking already.
Thank you, Leslie.
And now I'd like to introduce Bob Carroll, the Vice President of Business Development for the CMAB. Hi, Bob.
Hi, Leslie. Really good to see you.
You too. Now tell us how different the pizza contest looks this year in 2020 due to the pandemic than it did last year.
Well, we really limited the amount of people that are here today. You can see it's not a full kitchen.
Right.
We have the chefs actually are participating virtually, and the Culinary Institute chefs this year are cooking the pizzas. We've also shuffled the judges a little bit to limit travel and really focus on local judges. Of course, except we're not wearing masks now, but everyone else around is wearing masks, socially distanced, and doing everything that we're supposed to do to have a safe contest.
And Why is it so important to continue that this year, right? Because some people could just say, oh, don't do it, and we'll do it again next year. But you felt that the continuity was really important.
Absolutely. Well, our dairy farmers don't stop milking their cows, first of all. And the milk keeps flowing. Food service is a big part of total California dairy. And we actually surveyed the contestants last year and the finalists, and all of them resoundingly said it would really mean a lot to continue to have contests like this. And the best companies don't stop innovating when things get difficult. And we have to keep moving toward innovation and
you have to keep chefs, doing the same thing, innovating and keeping their restaurants going in order to build the demand as well.
Absolutely. So Technomic estimates that total food service sales are going to be down 25% this year. And we're doing everything we can to try to help support the food service industry through this time as well.
Now there's a new category this year in the contest, Cal-Mex. Tell us about that.
Well, 38% of Californians are of Hispanic or Latino ancestry. And obviously, Mexican Americans are a big part of that. The food culture is all intertwined with California. And as we look at the evolution of pizza, it moves with the culinary trends of the culture. And California is so deeply entwined with the Hispanic and Latino culture, and California is the leader in Mexican-style cheeses. It just completely made sense for us.
Well, tell us about more of those cheeses, because there's going to be a lot used on the pizzas today.
Yeah, one of the things that California being the leading dairy state in the country, we have really spans the gamut from the largest cheesemakers, Saputo, Leprino, all the way down to these wonderful specialty cheeses, many of them farmstead. So we have some of those today. Of course, we have mozzarella. We do have some specialty mozzarella as well. And with the Hispanic category that we just talked about a little bit ago, we have, from wonderful cheesemakers, Cotilla, Oaxaca, Queso Fresco, and Manchego, just incredible cheeses, all the way to very specialty cheeses like Cowgirl Creamery and their incredible cheese that is popular.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
it's delicious.
For snacking, right. We're in wine country. I mean, wine and cheese. What goes better? Pizza and cheese. It's right there with it.
Well, I'm getting hungry already. I can't wait till the pizzas get in the oven here soon.
Me too.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep. Thanks, Leslie.
Now it's time to meet our judges who share California Dairy's passion and love of pizza. They're quite a distinguished group, all past pizza champions and owners of award-winning restaurants. Our first judge really needs no introduction. Tony Gemignani is one of the leaders and inspirations of the entire pizza industry. He's the 13-time world champion pizza maker, a regular on numerous food shows, and runs his International School of Pizza. Tony, it's great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you've been on my show as well on PBS in terms of one of your restaurants, Capo's. How many restaurants do you have now?
About 30 restaurants now. Yeah, quite a few.
Wow, that's incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah, and tell me about the pizzas that you're going to be judging today. Are you excited to judge these pizzas? It's interesting, isn't it?
I'm excited, and all the different categories and what these chefs have brought to a table. I mean, the cheeses that are used, the ingredients that are going to be used. I mean, when it comes to the finals and the finale, it's always the best. So I'm excited.
Yeah. And what is it that you love about pizza? Because you do pizza 24/7.
So I'm known for doing different styles of pizza. You can't just say, hey, I'm the New York guy, or I make Chicago style. I celebrate all pizza. So when it comes to pizza in its entirety, nobody loves it more than me. I've competed more probably than anybody in the industry. I'm probably considered an old man in the industry. I've been making pizza for 30 years, and I love everything about it. It's so communal. It brings you back to when things were simpler and you're a kid and you had that first bite of pizza and you just fell in love with it. And it goes on and on and on as you get older, and you could have it half, it could be round, it could be thick, it could be thin, it could be square. When it comes to pizza, I just absolutely love it.
And tell us the one thing that you're going to look for in these winning pizzas.
One thing you always look for is balance. It's a key to any pizza. Every bite should take you through a journey, but really it's always about balance.
All right, time to go slice some pie.
All right, let's go eat.
Our next judge is Glenn Cebulski, another highly acclaimed pizzaiolo with multiple culinary awards. Glenn's also a popular speaker and educator and is the only returning judge from the 2019 contest. Now, welcome, Glenn. Are you looking forward to judging some pizzas today?
Good to see you, Leslie.
You
yeah,
too.
it's reminiscent of last year, only a lot weirder with the COVID.
It is, with all the new regulations and keeping your, and that's interesting because this year is different in the sense that you've got, a team of chefs from the Culinary Institute here at Copia making other people's recipes.
It sounded really strange at the beginning because no chef wants some other chef to make their recipe. Right. You just don't really have the same feel. But I'm really looking forward to it because I think clearly who else would you want to have represent you than a CAI chef? That's fantastic.
Right.
And we'll see how it works out. I think it's going to be just fine. It's fantastic to be in the second year of the California Milk Advisory Board's pizza contest. So I'm just excited to be here.
And we've got some interesting categories this year, right? The Cal-Mex and the new Californian and the Plant Forward. So are you looking forward to those sorts of categories?
I'm looking forward to the categories, and to tell you the truth, I'm kind of meh on the Plant Forward, but hopefully they'll surprise me. You never know. I keep an open mind. So it's really going to be fun to see what kind of diversity there is because the diversity of the chefs, it really all comes down to those basic elements of the dough and the sauce and of course the cheese. So we're going to see how creative they can get with the California cheese. Last year was really fun. I think this year it's going to be, they're going to raise the bar a little bit.
Well,
so I'm looking forward to it.
We're looking forward to it too because I'll get to taste the pizzas after you judge them.
Right? Yeah, we all get to taste a lot of pizza today. That's the benefit here.
That's right. All right, good luck.
Thanks, Leslie.
And third, Thomas Garnick is reigning grand prize winner from last year's Real California Pizza Contest. He set a high bar with his winning pizza. Welcome, Thomas.
Well, hello. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, tell us about your pizza last year. What did you do last year to take the grand prize?
Yeah, we competed. The inspiration was kind of taking those beautiful cheeses and showcasing in a couple different ways, taking the fresh, beautiful produce we could find here in California, and really just kind of creating that package, that perfect bite, that one bite. So when you bite into it, it's kind of this. It really anchors it in, and we're looking forward to seeing a lot more of that this year.
Now, will it be fun to be on the other side, to be judging people's pizzas?
It's going to be different. This year's going to be a little less stressful, I think. I'm probably not going to be running around quite as much. It's going to be a great opportunity to see, what do these chefs continue to do to propel it forward. Pizza's a very fast evolving space, and it's amazing to be able to see the opportunity of seeing the evolution of all these other great chefs out there, kind of coming up with these ideas, and they're really pushing their boundaries, and it forces me to jump in and say, all right, well, here's where these guys are going, and starting to look ahead at how are we going to stay competitive, because there's some amazing looking recipes that we got to go through in the entire contest to narrow it down to these few last select individuals. So it's going to be awesome to see what happens.
And you're going to be hungry. I'll tell you, you better be hungry in order to judge all these.
I haven't eaten for about 2 days, so I'm ready for
judge all these pizzas. Well, good luck judging.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and we're looking forward to it.
Okay. Now it's time to fire up the ovens and start making and baking pizza in order to discover the winners of the second annual Real California Pizza Contest. We're starting in the Cal-Mex category, which features pizzas inspired by the culinary and flavor fusion of California and Mexico. We have Jennifer Jambroni, Director of Communications for the CMAB, with us. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi,
How
Leslie.
are you?
So happy to be here today.
I know, excited for today.
Very
All right,
excited.
Tell us about this unique Cal-Mex category.
Well, Cal-Mex is really, like, you've heard of Tex-Mex, obviously, but Cal-Mex really marries those beautiful flavors of California cuisine, those light, bright flavors with Mexican cuisine, which we all love. It's, one of those categories that everyone loves. They love those flavors, and kind of brings the two together into something that a version of Mexican food, but it just really incorporates that California freshness.
And California cheese. Fantastic.
Absolutely.
California cheeses.
Wonderful California cheeses, and really these Hispanic style cheeses. So they're inspired by cheeses from Mexico, from other Latin countries, made with California milk, and we make more of them here in California than any other state. So we're the largest producer, and obviously we use a lot of them as well. And they add this wonderful freshness, this saltiness to the food, and they're really kind of an essential way of adding authenticity authenticity.
Right, and I think that probably explains the popularity, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Well, we are obsessed with Latin flavors 100%, and those cheeses really complement that. Adding cheese, adding crema really adds like that extra special ingredient.
Thanks, Jennifer. Now we'd like to introduce you to the finalists who submitted the 4 winning pizza recipes in the Cal-Mex category. Linda Ortega, a professional chef from Watsonville, California, is the owner of Fired Up Fresh, a mobile wood-fired pizza catering business. Her entry, Al Pastor, is a tribute to her husband's Mexican heritage and features fresh cotija cheese alongside marinated pork adobo and California chili sauce. Jordan Lawson is a professional chef from Bellingham, Washington, where he manages La Fiamma wood-fired pizza. His entry, Chile Relleno Pizza, utilizes rich queso quesadilla and crema mexicana to tastefully balance green tomatillo salsa and roasted poblanos. Buffy Wimmer, a professional chef from McKinney, Texas, is the owner of Jersey Pie's food truck. Her entry, Pizza Taco de Cajallero, is a street taco-inspired pizza highlighted by the delicious combination of 4 Hispanic-style California cheeses paired with carne asada and zesty mango salsa. Lars Smith, a professional chef from Palo Alto, California, is the owner of State of Mind Public House and Pizzeria. His entry, El Etero, combines queso Oaxaca and cotija with tender guajillo braised pork shoulder and corn requesón to honor those who make and sell Mexican street corn.
I entered the pizza contest, for fun, and I thought maybe it'd be a great idea to try something new, like get out of my comfort zone. So I did that, and I was honored that I was picked as one of the finalists. And why am I here? I'm here because I love pizza, and I love making pizza.
Yeah, I work for Ken and Dan Bothman. They own the restaurant. They're 2 of my greatest mentors. I worked with them for 6 years now. I've been cooking since I was 15. I ran away to the circus. I always joke with my parents. I grew up in rural Whatcom County, and there's not much to do out there except get in trouble and go play in the creek and stuff.
I am honored and thrilled to be returning to the 2nd annual Real California Milk Association Pizza Contest. This is such a fabulous platform for pizziolas to share their pizza craft, as well as highlighting the most delicious Real California cheeses.
My name is Lars Smith, and I'm the chef and co-owner of State of Mind Public House and Pizzeria in Los Altos, California. I had some friends working at a local pizzeria, Pizza My Heart, in Palo Alto, and it seemed like a pretty good gig to avoid going to college. And now 18 years later, I have not been able to get out of the pizza industry for more than 6 months at a time. And it's turned into my passion, my inspiration, my whole life.
These 4 finalists will now have their Cal-Mex pizza recipes prepared and baked by the chef instructors from the Culinary Institute of America. All right, now the fun begins. The judges just finished judging the first 4 pizzas in the Cal-Mex category, so I'm going to get their impressions now. All right, gentlemen, did you get some good pizzas? How was this Cal-Mex category for you, Tony?
For me, it got spicier and spicier and spicier, and I love heat. So, when it came to pizzas, it was a little surprising. There were some doughs that had multi-grains, maybe whole wheat that kind of stood out. So yeah, no, it was pretty awesome. Some amazing pieces. Really.
It was a great category, a first-time category, but one to keep.
And the cheeses used on it were pretty spectacular. I mean, hats off to all the competitors. Yeah, yeah, really amazing.
And tell me about your impressions in terms of the California cheeses. How did they show on these pizzas?
I think the cheeses showed really well. There's a lot of really bold flavors in the Cal-Mex division, obviously. So you have to take that into consideration. But also with the chefs from the CIA cooking the pizzas, they did a really good job. It's not easy to do to cook someone else's recipe. So I think the cheese is really what's supposed to shine through here.
Right.
It's the base. And with all the other flavor profiles, if they're not too overpowering and they let that cheese flavor come through, I'm excited for the next categories as well, but the Cal-Mex was awesome.
It was
tasted
awesome. Do you
really
feel the
great.
same way in terms of the cheeses shining and the different surprises in the doughs, as Tony was saying?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what I really loved was kind of taking those classic techniques and flavors and varieties and really kind of putting their own spin on it. And so you feel the reminiscence of what you would expect to feel. And then there are some really amazing, surprising uses with the cheeses and mixing in some other ingredients and the layering of the flavors. And just, it's an amazing to watch these chefs and what they're doing and just some great products. And it just kind of, I think it shined very brightly, and we can see why we picked this first group batch to represent kind of this category nationwide. And we're excited to see what the rest of the use of these ingredients, these cheeses, are going to be for us.
You guys really tear it apart in layers, don't you? You have to
Yeah.
look at the crust, because the cheese is what shines on top, but it's the crust that gives the base, right? So
Yeah,
talk a
so-
little bit about those crusts.
Well, sometimes the competitors, think everything has to go underneath, and we talked about this, and it's a lot of it about the finishing ingredients. So yeah, I think we're going to want to look for a little more cheeses finished on top, so it pops a little more and gives it that color. The crusts are pretty amazing today. I mean, we're looking at the crust. You're lifting up and looking right underneath it. You're cutting and looking at that structure. We get this gets us excited about things.
You're
we're like excited.
The cheese up like this, right? You gotta.
And we're looking for that cheese pull too. We
Right.
want to see how well that baked, and was it layer after layer and just nothing but heat over the top of it, or was there a little bit of balance? So we all love balance when it comes to pizza. It's just so important.
And you kind of mentioned surprises in terms of the flavors. Was there a theme with this Cal-Mex category?
I think Tony kind of hit it starting off. We got a little bit of heat and it kind of built. And I think the other thing is just looking at the cheeses, right? So we've seen it in so many different forms. We've seen the asadero, which kind of gets that beautiful melt, almost like mozzarella. And then we came out and we've seen some people take and almost make like a crema sauce that went over the top and mix that with other ingredients. And then we kind of seen a little bit firmer, drier cheeses mixed in with well. So we just seen a lot of different tastes and textures using that same base, that dairy that they started with, and it kind of really kind of built those layers. So we feel that texture, we smell it, and it makes that whole package, and that's really the big difference.
Well, this is going to be an interesting category, and the winners will be announced a little bit later in the broadcast, so stay tuned. Our next pizzas are the best recipes from the Plant Forward category, which features pizzas with produce-centric toppings layered to complement cheese made with California milk. Jennifer Jambroni, Director of Communications for the CMAB, is joining us again to tell us more about the Plant Forward category. This is also a new category for the contest. What was the CMAB's inspiration, Jennifer, for seeking this Plant Forward category?
Well, I mean, it's obvious that Plant Forward is one of the biggest food trends. We see it at retail, we obviously see it at food service, and it's really about capturing all of these wonderful produce items, but then adding the cheese or the dairy as the protein on the plate. It's a wonderful complement to vegetables, and there's an equal kind of diversity in ingredients. You can have any combination of vegetables and really any combination of cheeses. You've got sharp cheeses, you've got mild cheeses, and so you bring those two together and it really can be a winning combination.
And it'll be interesting for the judges to be looking at that combination and looking at, what are these meat alternatives and how do the different crusts play into it, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's one of those things that it's really about layering those flavors as well, like the flavor profiles of each individual vegetable, the cheeses and the dairy ingredients that you bring in, and anything else that you add to it with the crust. Alternate crusts as well, we're seeing a lot of that. So I think all three of those things coming together can create some really interesting pizzas.
Thanks, Jennifer. We'd now like to introduce you to the finalists who submitted the 4 winning pizza recipes in the Plant Forward category. Domenica Catelli, a professional chef from Geyserville, California, is the owner of Catelli's. Her entry, the new Old School, pairs cauliflower crust and plant-based sausage with fresh burrata and smoked mozzarella for an inventive twist on a classic recipe. Anisha Blodgett, a professional chef from San Diego, California, is the owner of Powerhouse Wholesome Pizza and Eats. Her entry, roasted mushrooms pizza on high-protein whole wheat grain crust, features fresh mushrooms, cherry tomatoes, and arugula on top of delicious mozzarella and creamy ricotta. Joe Malaki, a professional chef from Port Orange, Florida, is the co-owner of Giuseppe's Steel City Pizza. His entry, the Shelly, tastefully incorporates spinach, mushrooms, and mini tomatoes alongside a pistachio pesto sauce and fresh mozzarella. The only repeat finalist is Lars Smith, a professional chef from the State of Mind Public House and Pizzeria in Palo Alto, California. His entry, Fire on the Mountain, relies on queso Oaxaca and rich Mexican crema to form a rich foundation for plant-based chorizo, Fresno peppers, and roasted cauliflower.
Pizza is this great unifier. It's a meal that you share, that you take a slice from, and it's around the table. And for me, community, food, fun, people coming together, that's my passion with food. So pizza is a perfect vehicle for that.
I've been able to use a pizza place as a way to educate on nutrition, on balance, on making long-term healthy choices. I love working with the schools in the neighborhood and the families.
My name is Joe Melky, and I know a few of you guys on this panel here, and I'm 36 years old. I've been doing this for the better part of 20 years now, and it's the only thing I've ever wanted to do.
I've been in the pizza industry for 18 years now, which is pretty wild. I'm 36 years old, and now, as of August, half my life I have been making pizza.
These 4 finalists will now have their plant-forward pizza recipes prepared and baked by the chef instructors from the Culinary Institute of America. Our judges just completed the second category of plant-forward pizzas, and so I'm here to get their impressions. How did you like these pizzas overall? Did you think the category was a strong one?
Yeah, I was impressed by the category, especially on some of the cheeses used, you know, the burrata, the smoked mozzarella, the queso Oaxaca. You know, that cheese is kind of, you don't really see it that often, but on this pizza it was pretty awesome. I'm not gonna say which pizza it was, but you know, I think we're searching for things, you know, we want to make sure there's enough cheese on the pizzas, you know, right. and then we don't want it to be too much. It's like I always say, it's always about balance when it comes to cooking.
And what did you think about it, Thomas? Because, you know, again, this is, I would say, an emerging category in terms of all the alternative options. Did you feel that the cheese was the star in this category?
Absolutely. It's kind of an inventive. Obviously we're plant forward, so we're seeing a lot more fresh produce and fresh ingredients and those really green and peppery and flavors. You know, and I think we've seen some amazing uses of a couple of these different type of cheeses. And, you know, the judges moving forward next year, I think here you can be a little more bold because you can really amp up and tie together the beautiful bounty of Mother Nature and really bring in some of those really unique cheeses that California really has to offer. You know, and we did see some, you know, using the smoked mozzarella, it's going to give a little bit of that nuttiness, that creaminess that's going to go on there, a little bit of that ricotta to kind of cut through some of the acid and some of those other flavors, and then even we brought back in some of the crema, so it's kind of a nice, not too acidic, not too sweet. So
and the crust, talking about the crust, because we had an alternative crust in here as well too, right?
There were.
Tony, what did you think about that?
And some looked well, others didn't. You know, I think it's always about what we see, what we eat, and we're looking at some like, oh, we're surprised this was good, and then all of a sudden we try it. You you know, is a little off. We're always searching for a little salt, I think, on a lot of these pizzas, and acidity. That salt and acidity we're looking for, just to support some of those great doughs that we're having.
Right.
today.
And you had talked previously, Glenn, about the balance of the pizza and the cheese and the plant-based ingredients. Talk a little bit more about that, because balance with pizza is key.
One of the things that's really difficult to do is layer those flavors, especially when you have certain ingredients that are naturally going to overpower everything else. Those ingredients usually have to be cut back. I really enjoyed the heat on one of the pizzas because it came in at the finish. I don't think that was a mistake. I think that chef knew what he was doing, or she was doing, and was able to layer those flavors so we could enjoy all of them and then finish with the heat. It wasn't too overpowering. I actually tasted the best pizza I've tasted today in that category, which is surprising for me because I'm not a big plant-forward guy. I never have been. But every single one of these pizzas had elements that I really, really liked. A few of them, and one particular brought all those elements together.
And then topped with that beautiful California cheese.
The cheese is the star of the show of any pizza. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. That's my opinion. I love it, and if you don't agree, that's all right. But you've got to have great cheese, and you've got to use it the right way. People that put 2 and 3 extra times cheeses, they're just destroying their pizzas.
That's right.
It's you know, you can't do that. So the balance is really key. And again, in this category, unlike the first one, we saw drastic swings of the use of cheese.
Yeah, there we go.
Some
drastic,
were really good.
drastic. They're all
Some
shaking
weren't
their
so
heads,
good.
saying yes,
So-
yes, yes, drastic use. And did that then affect the quality at the, you know, the bites at the, you know, in the ultimate tally?
Yeah, I think we've all hit on it's the layering and the complexity. Some of the cheeses we want nice and creamy and fresh, and to highlight those ingredients, some of those finishing cheeses that's going to bring in that salty and that almost textural component, and some we want is kind of a balance. So I think the way that you use those cheeses, you know, and I think Glenn kind of jumped on there. It's not just the more cheese we can get on this pizza.
Right.
It's how can we bring those components together so it's a symphony, it's a harmony. When it all comes together, you get that perfect bite, and it just kind of this aha, and it all comes together, and you're like, how did that happen?
That's what we're talking about.
All right, well, you guys will stay tuned for the results of this plant forward category. At the end of the broadcast, we'll be picking the winners. Our final pizzas are the best recipes from the Real Californian category. This special group features pizzas with ingredients showcasing the best of the Golden State, with a special focus on California cheeses. Jennifer Jambroni, Director of Communications for the CMAB, is back to tell us more about the Real Californian category. These pizzas are a celebration of California, its abundance of fresh ingredients and cuisines. Hi, Jennifer.
Hey there.
We're back to talk about this category that, you know, what was the inspiration for this one?
Well, obviously, as California dairy producers and producers of wonderful dairy ingredients, you know, this is a category very close to our hearts. We very much celebrate our state every single day in the products that we put together. Really want to marry them with all of the other wonderful agricultural products in our state. We make beef, we have lamb, we have wonderful meats and proteins, we have fruits and vegetables, nuts, everything that you could consider putting on a pizza. So it's one of those categories where really anything goes.
Right, and it got, looking at the finalist recipes, it got very creative, didn't it? What were some of those flavors that brought California to life?
Well, it was really interesting. In some we saw, you know, a real focus on the ingredients. So pistachios, you know, obviously our cheeses, some vegetables, pesto, things like that. And some were more inspired by place. So they pulled those ingredients into the recipes themselves. So we had crab, obviously something that we are very close to our hearts. Sourdough crust, things like that are very California focused, but also give you a sense of place in the state itself.
Thanks, Jennifer. I'd now like to introduce you to the 4 finalists chosen for their submissions for the Real Californian category. As the only international representative, Efren Rios is a professional chef from Mexico City. He works at Bottega Napule. His entry Bronte provides an original interpretation of California cuisine through fresh yellow tomatoes, eggplant, pistachios, and basil on top of rich California provolone. Judd Watstein, a professional chef from Santa Cruz, California, is the owner of Sleight of Hand Pizza. His entry, Cali Crab, blends 2 California favorites, Dungeness crab and pesto with fresh mozzarella and triple cream. Philip Ma, a professional chef from San Francisco, California, is the owner of Dough. His entry, Szechuan Pizza, incorporates his Chinese heritage into a delicious interpretation of a California fusion pizza, highlighted by fresh mozzarella and Szechuan chili. Ricky Webster is a professional chef and baker from Spokane, Washington, who has worked with Cisco. His entry, The Wharf, combines sourdough crust and fresh clams with rich creme fraiche and mozzarella for a delicious ode to San Francisco's landmark Fisherman's Wharf.
So pizza has been an absolutely huge part of my life. A bit of a platform to kind of jump off, and it's worked to my advantage both business-wise and as like my pizza persona.
Good. I just want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to do this. And today I want to tell you 3 things that inspired me. Do you guys remember the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Yes, that was me. I wanted to be a ninja. I wanted to fight bad guys and save the world. At the end, we will celebrate by eating pizza.
Well, I'm here because I love bread and cheese. I grew up in a Portuguese and Italian family, and there was not a family gathering or dinner that went by without bread or cheese on the table. And so when you think about those 2 concepts or those two offerings, I mean, one of the best ways or the best way to consume that is through pizza.
So when I was 17, I made my first pizza ever in my life. And I remember it was a Roman style. I had to use the roller. That was so good. And it's amazing. I don't see my life doing something else.
These 4 finalists will now have their real California pizza recipes prepared and baked by the chef instructors from the Culinary Institute of America. And now we're ready for the final category called Real Californian. Now, the judges have just completed eating all of their pizzas, and I have to say, it smells fantastic in here. It really is just explosive in terms of the aromas. Can you tell everybody what's so important with all the senses about judging a pizza? It's not just about the taste, it's about what you taste, the crunch and the smell and the texture. Talk a little bit about using all your senses.
Well, when it comes to pizza, the dough is such a foundation, and you want to be baked properly. When it comes to the California, real California section, it can be anything and everything. When you think of back in the day, opening up and grabbing that barbecue sauce and grab those onions and that chicken and let's put some shaved almonds and put it on that pizza. Does it work? Does it not? In this category, for me, a lot of things didn't quite work. I was a little disappointed in some of them, but then there was one that we had and we all talked about it. And it was a showstopper. It was delicious. Some of the cheeses used in this, the creme fraiche, the aged mozzarella, the fresh mozzarella on these pizzas. I didn't see a lot of fresh mozzarella at the beginning of the rounds. And then in this section, it was great. So there was one that was my favorite. I mean, right. it kind of blew me away.
Okay. Well, because you had things like Szechuan, you had the use of crab, you had pesto. I mean, there was a real sense of bringing in not only, the essence of California and of course California cheeses, but some exotic flavors,
Very
exotic
exotic
character. Thomas, what did you think about this category in general?
Yeah, I think kind of back to your point of, it is multi-sensory. I mean, you eat with your eyes first, and so what we're looking at when we first look at that pizza is we're looking at how does it look, how does it present itself? Am I excited to take a bite of that, or am I like going in? And then the aroma, right? There's a couple of them, you hit that aroma and it just hits you with a wall and you kind of know what to expect, and some of them are like, man, I'm really excited to try this, and there are a couple where you hit it and you're like, and then it carries on to kind of where you're thinking, and then once you bite into it, that texture, that cheese is going to bring a fatty nuttiness to it and kind of help wash those out. It's going to give this rich, creamy kind of unctuousness, and those other ingredients, we're balancing those and bringing those so it's that perfect bite. I mean, that's the beautiful thing I think Glenn talked about earlier, is like it's a 3-course meal on a plate. So when I have that bite, I want to experience that full experience, and some of the uses of cheese really kind of pulled that together. And here I think we see a better balancing of the uses of cheese to the flavors that were present in the category maybe than some of the others, and using those like a nice rich heavy triple cream kind of paired with a mozzarella.
So did one of the cheeses stand out for you? One of the
I think the use of the creme fraiche, so using kind of that was a really nice, the acidity and the sweetness. The sharp provolone had the kind of the idea to be great with the way that it was paired in that pizza. It's just kind of a really forward, and then the aged mott's just kind of, it's a little bit nuttier and richy, so it brings in some sweet and some smokiness. And so I think the uses, there were a lot of great applications that went in there, and just kind of it helped tie these pizzas together a little better than I feel possibly like some of the other rounds did.
And Glenn, do you agree with that? Because again, when you're talking about all those senses, the crunch of the crust, talk about using your senses to judge this Californian category.
Well, that's an important part of anyone in culinary, whether you're baking or whether you're a line cook. It doesn't really matter, because whether you realize it or not, those senses are kicked in, and it's going to affect the way you taste something. Again, the texture, the crunch, the bite, the feel. You might have seen us tearing apart the cornice to smell the dough and the cell structure. All of those things. That cell structure holds flavor. So it's really important to look at the balance of what's been happening over these 3 categories. And I think there's clear winners in each category. To me, there's definitely clear winners in each category. And I think each one of these chefs really used high quality, really good ingredients. But to me, and for as long as I've been, cooking, I don't know about the other guys, but I think you probably agree, less is more. And so if you're using a super high quality cheese, and this is an unshameless plug, because I've always loved California mozz. I've always used California mozz. And the difference to me is the way you bake it, those enzymes, the butter flavor comes to the top. That's the first thing you're tasting on your palate. So the real question is, were these chefs balancing their pizzas out?
Because in this category, you're looking to, as I said, bring that essence of California alive somehow. So some might have gone too far and going for the exotic reach, or the
a little far.
A little too far.
Absolutely. And again, there were some pizzas that really stood out, and I think it's just a matter of balancing the flavor profiles. There were some really good flavors, but they were really overpowering.
I want to thank the judges, the Culinary Institute, and their incredible chefs, and of course everyone at the California Milk Advisory Board. I'll be passing this off to Jennifer Jambroni, as it's now time to reveal the winners of each category and name the grand prize winner. The California Milk Advisory Board will be awarding $5,000 to the winners of the Cal-Mex Plant Forward and Real Californian category. And the winner with the most points will be named the grand prize winner and receive a check for an additional $10,000. Thank you for being part of the 2020 Real California Pizza Contest. This is Leslie Sbrocco signing out from Napa, California.
Thanks, Leslie, and what a delicious day it's been. We're really excited to get to the good stuff, sharing the judges' results with all of you. Before we start, I'd like to say thank you again to all of our chef contestants. There were so many creative and inspiring entries, and you truly are all winners. I'd love to welcome back John Talbot, the California Milk Advisory Board CEO, and he's here today representing our 1,200 dairy farm families. And he'll be announcing our winners, starting with our category winners, and then of course the grand finale of the grand prize. So we'll kick off With our first category, Cal-Mex, again, this is the category that celebrates the marriage of Latin flavors and California dairy freshness. So John, who's going to be our first $5,000 category winner?
Thanks, Jennifer. The winner of the Cal-Mex category is Lars Smith. Lars is from the State of Mind Public House and Pizzeria in Los Altos, California. Lars, can you say a few words and maybe describe your pizza for us?
Wow, I mean, it's cliche to say, but that's really unexpected. Before I say anything, I want to congratulate my fellow competitors for being part of this. Really, the hardest part, I think, of this whole thing this year was not getting to see all of you. That was really wonderful last year. Our pizza this year is a elotero, which is inspired by the Mexican street corn vendors we have here in California. That is really has been a big part of my life is growing up here in California and the food traditions. And I really wanted to pay homage to some of the street food vendors, particularly the Mexican street food vendors that we have a really rich culture of here in California. And this is a pizza that we've had on our menu for 3 years now, and it's the most popular seasonal pizza we do. So it was kind of a no-brainer to put it in here. And it features the Oaxaca cheese as well as the requesón, which you don't see a lot of. So I thought it'd be a fun thing to do, and apparently it paid off. So thank you all for the opportunity.
Wow, congratulations, Lars. This is so exciting. Now we can move on to the plant forward category. This is new this year, and it's really a category that captures one of the biggest food service trends. And it celebrates the abundance and diversity of fruits, vegetables, nuts, and the richness, of course, of California cheese and dairy. So John, who's going to be our plant forward champion?
Okay, well, the winner of the plant forward category is Lars Smith. Again, surprise, surprise. Congratulations, Lars. Double winner tonight.
Wow. I don't know what to say. We're supposed to prepare something, but this is really this is quite a wonderful thing. I think beyond talking about the plant forward, which is a huge thing in California, and I think sustainability in our food systems is really important. It's really important to me, particularly starting conversations about it. But also I just want to thank the California Cheese Board and in general the wonderful diversity of cheeses and products that we have in California. It's almost not fair. It makes it really a really wonderful place to be a chef, and I know all of the Californians here will agree with that. Is that we have such a bounty and diversity of ingredients. It really is a playground every day, every month of the year. You know, winter vegetables are just as fun as summer vegetables here, and we have wonderful companies like Beyond, Impossible, and other people doing plant-based things that are really fun to play with. So I'm really just thankful to have had the opportunity to get to compete with such wonderful competitors.
Wow, 2 categories. I mean, that is significant for sure, and exciting, and of course, you know, we are a little spoiled in California, definitely in terms of our ingredients and the availability year round. So congratulations again, and you know, this does bring us to our final category of pizzas. A category special to us as Californians and our California dairy families. The Real California, the category is all about the Golden State, the culinary innovation, the flavors, and of course the dairy products. These pizzas really celebrate what makes California so special. So John, who is our Real California category winner?
Okay, well, the winner of the Real Californian Pizza category is Ricky Webster.
Yay!
Yeah. Ricky formerly was an executive chef with Cisco and is now the owner of Rind and Wheat Cafe in Spokane, Washington. Ricky, say a few words for us.
Yeah, for sure. Wow, I'm shocked. I mean, not being there to, you know, to kind of feel off that bake and be part of it is a little interesting and hard to deal with, I think, when you're in this industry for so long and you work with the food. But I knew we had some really talented individuals who had our best interest at heart, and we're going to work their tails off to make sure that it happened. And you know, getting to work with the chefs and train them and speak to our recipes was a lot of fun on that end too. And it worked out because I'm here. I just opened my my first ever shop, and it's a bakery and cheese shop here in Spokane, Washington. And it's really, again, the two best things coming together, and pizza is such a great way to kind of bring that to the table. So to have this happen right now just kind of gives me that extra little pat on the back, and I can't thank you guys enough. And, you know, being born and raised in California, it was about taking it back and remembering those trips to San Francisco with my parents where we'd get that clam chowder in a bread bowl. And that's what I brought to you guys in pizza format. So it's near and dear to my heart. Thank you so much.
That is so awesome. Congratulations. This is, what a surprise, 2 finalists from last year. So see all of you, I'm hoping you plan to enter next year for sure. And now, of course, you know, this brings us to our big prize. This is the $10,000, our grand prize winner. So John, who's going to be taking home that big check?
The winner of the Real Californian Pizza category is Ricky Webster.
Congratulations. What? Wow. Thank you guys so much. Wow. I don't know what to say. I mean, yeah, I'm all the way up here from Spokane, and you know, it's very much a testament to what I'm spending every day, all day doing at the moment, opening my own cheese shop and bakery. And, you know, as Lars said earlier, the big miss this year was just not being able to be there with all of you. But the fact that it took, you know, a few months of being involved with this, with you guys, and meeting and talking and working through it, you know, during this time of the world, it's been a nice, positive, something to look forward to. And every email I get that says, you know, CMAB pizza competition, it's like I look forward, what's next? And what do we get to test out? Or who do we need to meet to talk to about our recipe? And it's like, it's, you know, it's made a very happy, positive, wonderful thing to look forward to during, you know, sometimes the frustrating moments in the world that we are in right now. So I thank you guys for doing this and for keeping this going. And, you know, I'm back this second year, and I took some notes last year, been working on my crust all year. And this one was sourdough, which to me spoke California, but it also speaks to what we're doing in the bakery every single day with naturally leavened breads. And yeah, thank you guys so very much. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. So thank you.
Congratulations again. I mean, what an achievement, and what an achievement to all of you. It's been a really exciting competition. We know it's been fits and starts, and we've really appreciated all of you sticking in there with us as we kind of figured this out as well. It was a tough competition. All of the recipes were so inspirational. There were so many creative uses of cheese, of ingredients, and they all were very tasty. I can attest to that. You know, we really want to, again, thank all of our pizza chefs here, and hope that you will join us again next year. We're going to do the competition again. We're really dedicated to pizza and to celebrating you. We want to really thank the Culinary Institute of America, their chef instructors, for really the dedication they brought to bringing your pizza creations to life. We know it was tough for you guys not to be able to make your pizzas, but I can tell you they put a lot of care into every single pizza that they made. They were very much discussing the pizza recipes as they were preparing them, going back and redoing them if they felt that they weren't well represented. So I think you can really take heart in the work that they put into that. We really appreciate our judges for their time, their talent, for spending the day socially distancing while enjoying pizza. And really, they put a lot of thought into the judging that they put into every single category. Our immense gratitude from CMAB to the Food Connector team for, you know, putting this on and figuring out a way to still make it happen. It's been a ride for sure, an adventure, and it's been a lot of fun too. There's been some creative things that were brought to the table that I think we'll be able to enjoy in the future. The extra work of our CMAB team, you know, the support work behind the scenes. Kudos to Aperture for finding a way to bring this to life today. And then, of course, we have to honor our California dairy farmers and the dairy community for supporting chefs and promoting innovation and continuing to produce those wonderful dairy foods. We know while many things have changed this year, it's been an incredible year. One thing remains constant, and that is our love for pizza. And of course, its ability to bring us together. I think we've seen that today. We've seen this throughout the past year. You know, as we continue to celebrate the innovative chefs here today, we really want to also thank our extended food service community, the chefs, the line workers, the servers, support staff, everyone who's out there every single day keeping us well fed. We appreciate you all. We hope that everyone watching this will look for our chef contestants, look for their operations, buy their pizzas, really enjoy their creations. There's so much talent here on the screen today, and you can appreciate that in your area as well. And again, please join us next year. Keep an eye on realcaliforniamilk.com/food service. That's where we house all of this information and our pizza competition. And of course, I would have to end it with have a very dairy day. Thank you so much.